Joining us now is Richard Haass, President of the Council on Foreign Relations. Mr. Haass, good morning to you.
Good morning.
President Mubarak's newly appointed VP is going to meet with the opposition. Is this a signal of the beginning of the end, or is this a sign that Mubarak is just trying to kind of hold on and hope that maybe this whole thing goes away?
Clearly, Mubarak would like to stay on. My own hunch is he won't be able to. And the fact that this sort of a dialogue is taking place is a good sign.
Have we reached the point that people in the streets are saying, enough, the time is now, and people are calling for change? Has the ship sailed, so to speak?
It's not so important what the people in the streets are doing, it's the Army. The Army, by signaling it doesn't want to kill the people in the streets, is sending a signal. It does not want to tie its own long-term legitimacy and viability to the Mubarak regime. So I think that's the important signal, and that's what tells us this thing is beginning to move.
This million people march today that we're seeing in Liberation Square, the people, I think, genuinely feel that they are seeing the last hours of the Mubarak regime. Safe to say that they're accurate?
Yeah. What do you want me to tell you? Predictions are tough, but if I were betting, yes. I think the Mubarak understands, or at least what we're seeing events tell us, that he probably can hang on. The Army is not going to risk its own long-term role in Egypt simply to preserve him. So I think it's fair to say it's a question more of when, not if.
There's an overwhelming fear from the U.S.'s standpoint of an Islamic fundamentalist state here. Is this more, do you feel more of a religious uprising or more of a popular uprising?
Very popular. Religious forces have had virtually nothing to do with this. But that said, the longer this plays out, the more things begin to unravel economically in the security realm. The more they're uncertain politically, it creates political openings. And what we've learned through history is often it's not the first phase or even the second phase of a revolution that matters. It's the third or fourth phase. And clearly, the religious radicals, the so-called Muslim Brotherhood, the Ikhwan, is going to try to exploit any political openings, which is why it's important that sooner rather than later, a dialogue starts to take place, Mubarak leaves office, and order is restored, and the economy gets started up again.
The one thing they talk about is there being really, the opposition is there, but as far as a controlling party that could step in and handle a transition, there's really
absolutely nothing.
Nothing there at this point.
The only thing these people have in common is they're against Mubarak. As soon as that's achieved, then you're going to see the splintering, and you're going to see the radical religious forces, who probably represent about a quarter to a third of Egypt. They're going to go in one direction, and all the civilians, you're going to see all the rivalries, all the different agendas, and that's why this is a very dangerous situation. So after Mubarak goes, assuming that does happen, people shouldn't think the problem is over. That's when the problem really begins.
As far as something like this, these uprisings spreading throughout the Middle East, could you see that potentially happening? Other nations, other countries seeing this and saying to themselves, okay, this might be a way to go?
People are nervous. The fact that this moved from Tunisia to Cairo to Egypt, that tells you something. Places like Jordan have to watch very carefully. I think some of the oil-rich kingdoms in the Persian Gulf are probably safe. But Arab television, satellite television in particular, the internet has now become a powerful, not just social force, but political force throughout this part of the world.
All right, Richard Haass, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good talking with you this morning.